Hi, this is Ryan Thomas Johnson of Carnosaur 2, and you are listening to The Final Gaze.
Welcome back to The Final Gaze. I'm Toby.
I'm Harrison.
And today we're doing something a little different. We decided to watch, or we're starting a first in a series. We'll be doing this every once in a while, a compare and contrast of an original movie and then its remake. So this episode we decided to cover Night of the Demons, the original, and then I think we're going to talk about the remake most of the time.
Yes, we are.
So this is the first. We're still kind of working through it, but pretty excited to try this format.
Yep. I figured we'd be talking more about the remake only because the original, I think, is pretty well loved. Despite its flaws, it's definitely a staple in the horror community, a Halloween classic, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
So the remake was I don't even know how to explain it. It was just the most horrible thing I've ever seen.
It's like, how did you fuck up it? To remake Night of the Demons is, you don't need a whole lot, right? Like, the movie is so simple, and that's what makes it work. It doesn't try to explain anything really. Mm-hmm. You're just there along for the ride, and then it ends. Where this movie does that thing that reboots and remakes do, which is they try and tell like the origin story, and it just didn't work. You have all the elements. You have hot teens, spooky, gross ghosts, violence, fun music. How do you fuck that up? Especially, and I mean, basically, you just have to up the technology, right? Like, you can do everything exactly the same. It's just going to look better. The effects will be better. Things like, hopefully the acting will be better, but
it wasn't.
It was not.
I'll tell you what the remake didn't need. A really random subplot with Eddie Furlong selling... What was that?
Selling drugs.
Selling drugs?
Yeah,
I'm like,
drugs.
There was a whole scene in the beginning which had Eddie Furlong going to his drug dealer who was getting a blowjob.
Who, by the way, that drug dealer was the best actor in this whole movie. I was watching him and I was like, we do not need this scene, but he's not bad.
Was he?
I believed him when he said that he was going to kill Edward Furlong.
Yeah, did he have like a drawl? I forget almost. I watched this movie last Friday.
A British accent.
A British accent.
He had a British accent.
I thought there may be some sort of like payoff with it somehow, or like maybe
I
this
thought they
would
were going to show up at the end, maybe.
Yeah, like a Cheech Marin coming in to save Seth and Kate in From Dusk Till Dawn. But
yeah.
No, I do believe that scene was just in there for the sole purpose of being gratuitous. And
this movie leans heavily on?
Yeah. Now, was that man the director? Was he the producer? Like, I want to be in this movie and I want to be getting a blowjob.
I feel bad for that actress who's just like constantly bobbing her head up and down for like hours and hours of takes.
It's like, this is what my life has become. Mom, I'm an actress. Look, I'm in Night of the Demons.
Look at my career taking off. Look at that's my back of my head.
It was just, we were laughing.
It just killed precious runtime. It's like they didn't have enough story to tell, so they needed like an extra 10 minutes of nothing to just kind of pad it out.
Yeah, at first I was like, I think the only cool thing about the backstory was the death didn't make any sense, but when that lady hung herself, her head got cut off.
Her head just flew off. I don't know if it works that way.
She didn't jump that far, and it's not like it was a razor, but I thought it looked pretty cool.
The sharpest rope. It did look pretty cool.
And I knew that the man who was chasing after her, at the time we thought he was chasing after her. I definitely thought, okay, that's got to be some sort of cameo, and I was right. That's the pig dude from the original movie, which he turned out just fine.
There's a couple cameos in the remake.
Yeah, there's the one very obvious, gratuitous one, which belongs to
Was her name Suzanne from the original?
Oh, I don't know her by her character name, but I just know her by her actual name, which is Linnea Quigley.
Yes, Linnea Quigley.
Linnea Quigley.
And she, the pink tutu, obviously the boob, the tit, lipstick. That was funny. When she turned around, it was obviously a stand-in.
Yeah, which, when she bent over, should those have been two male trick-or-treaters?
Yes, they should have been two male, maybe slightly older, not two little girls who turn to each other and go,
I'm a lesbian now.
Yes, exactly. Was that what they were saying? If so, then good on them for inclusivity.
Yeah, which
although
I don't think it was, but
it's not.
No.
This movie also does that stupid thing where they have the spin the bottle. And it lands on the two guys, and it just makes the guys so annoyingly. Oh, I can't kiss. Like that scene lasted way too long of them being like, "Ew, how gay!" Oh, I guess that means you're gay now.
Because what was this? This was 2009. There weren't exactly too many strides being made towards stuff like that. And this scene, I mean, I thought it was adorable, but there was definitely that, like, okay, guys, it's not that bad.
Honestly, if they made this movie today, the guys would have been making out
immediately.
Just the whole gay baiting Twitter culture, for sure the guys would have made out.
Yep, they would have been acting just like Shannon Elizabeth did with that other girl.
Shannon fucking Elizabeth.
Wow. I've only seen her in 3 things: American Pie, 13 Ghosts, and God.
Scary Movie.
Oh God, Scary Movie. I totally forgot about that. And Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Oh, I've seen her in several things then.
I've seen her I've seen her in a lot of things with small roles. Like she was in Cursed for 5 seconds.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. Have you seen Cursed?
No. That was on Full Moon June.
My God.
Yeah.
So we have to wait till June?
No, not anymore.
Okay, well
we can cover anything we want, man.
Oh my God. Okay. You gotta watch that movie.
Even if it's set in the vicinity of December, boom, Christmas picture.
Yeah. Yeah, Shannon Elizabeth. And I remember when they were I saw this movie before I watched the original.
Because I remember wow.
2009 was like my
discovery year, huh?
It was before that, but 2009 was like the height of it, where I was like, Halloween 2 was coming out that year. I was super excited. There was a bunch of other bullshit, and this was something coming out, and I hadn't seen the original, but they had the articles of the writers and directors being like, oh, it's such a fantastic property, and we're really going to do it justice, and the fans are going to be so happy.
Lies.
And there was a lot of hype, I remember. Even though it was an indie movie, it wasn't going to theaters, there was still a lot of hype around it. And so I watched the original after this. 2 different movies, first off.
Yeah. So, be honest, without having seen the original and having seen the remake first, even on some simplistic level, do you think that the remake was okay?
No.
No?
There were parts that I actually really liked, but overall, no. And really, the parts that I liked were visual. It's kind of the movie is a piece of shit, but there are little tiny pinpricks of something where I could see there was a vision there. I could see the image in the director's mind or the writer's mind.
Yeah,
they don't last very long.
Yeah, and purely on a design level, I hated the Angela demon design, but the other demons look cool. Pretty gnarly. Yeah.
Angela's look dumb as fuck. I liked, I think her name was Jennifer, the one who got her face and boobs ripped off.
Yeah.
See, this movie has a tit rip-off, right?
Yes.
I could watch that, right? See, there's such a, isn't that funny? How...
It does have a
That didn't bother me at all.
But it's hilarious because the lipstick scene in the original is what it's known for. Did you see the lipstick scene from the Night of the Demons? Simple, really fucked up, bizarre thing. The slut of the group shoves a lipstick into her boob. Okay.
Done. Okay.
So for some reason, the filmmakers on this remake decided, how could we take that further? And it resulted in what I felt was the most hilarious scene in a horror film. And I knew it was coming. It was a remake. They had to have done this scene. All they had to do, shove a lipstick into your boob. What did they do? Tell us what they did, Toby.
So she shoves the lipstick into her boob. That happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the lipstick proceeds to travel and make its way down to, as one of the characters call, her pussy. And she just takes it right out of there. And it's so disgusting and like blood gushing out. Like it just was...
Even worse...
The movie's gross. I'll give it that. The movie is gross.
It's gross on a funny level. I didn't take anything about it seriously, but
yeah.
But I think that resulted in... Okay, so here's a little story on that scene. So I saw it happen. I'm like, okay. So here I am texting my notes, on my phone and all that. And I decided to just write what happened, just as a reference to, speak line for line what I saw. I wrote, she shoved a lipstick into her boob and pulled it out of her pussy. And what happens after that? The man literally says that line, mm-hmm. and it ended up being the most hilarious. Like, me and Richard, we laughed so hard during this movie. He was
okay during this movie?
He was okay. Actually, I don't think he liked either of them. For one, the original was a little dated, which totally makes sense, because even I was thinking like, oh wow, this is bad, like.
Honestly, I had such a good time watching the original. I watched it first, and I felt like it was a pretty good movie. I get why it's a classic. Mm-hmm. Not classic. I get why it's a cult movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot about it that it hit my sweet spot, like the 80s synth,
yes.
miniature work, that weird like. What is it where they it's a projector or whatever, like they project the image onto a background.
Yeah.
I forget the superimpose, like
yeah.
superimposing things and like stuff like that. It all hit my sweet spot. I thought the first one was just so much fun.
Yeah,
it's a bad movie, but I mean, bad.
Yeah, no, that's how I felt when I originally watched it. So I guess we'll get into that then. I think we kind of already answered that on your part, but just to be safe, mm-hmm. When did you first watch the original Night of the Demons?
It was 2009. It was
around that time,
right after this came out. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the only reason why I watched it was because I think I actually mistook it. You know how the whole Dario Argento thing with Dawn of the Dead? There's like the George Romero version, and then there's the Dario Argento version. Mm-hmm. I thought that was the same with Night of the Demons, because I know.
Oh, and Demons.
And Demons, which I don't know if that was him or not. That could have been Lucio Fulci. I could be mistaken, but I thought that that's the Italian version. This is the American version, and of course, years later I discovered it's completely different. But I only discovered Night of the Demons because it just got its release through Shot Factory. So, it came in a nice, sweet case and everything. And in fact, they just re-released it again a couple years ago as a steelbook in a new 4K transfer. And it looks fantastic for it being so aged. So I do remember having a lot of fun with it. I didn't hate it, and I don't hate it now, but it just, it's one of those things where you're trying to gauge the response of a friend on how they feel about a certain movie you like.
Their vibe is like changing your opinion on it.
So it's all like, oh my god, this is so stupid. This is ridiculous. And I can see where Richard was coming from. It was aged. It was very corny. He compared the acting to that of a porn, and he's not wrong. This acting is so terrible, and it's funny because that goes the same for the remake as well. For
some reason, it was so much more palatable in the first one because I felt it was bad, but it just fit. I felt like everyone was like overacting too. Like everyone was like being. There were just a bunch of caricatures, right?
Yeah.
There was the douchebag. There was the big dude, like. And so their bad acting played off really well for me because it just felt like a big cartoon.
Yeah, and it felt like the Thanksgiving trailer in Grindhouse.
It did, yeah. It had that very, I agree.
And even one of the characters in that trailer was called Judy. He's like,
and every character is so much more entertaining, or I cared way more watching than anyone in the remake.
Yeah, because and despite the fact that almost all the characters in the original were unlikable or just downright annoying, I loved all of them and hated everyone in the remake.
There was not one person that I was like, okay. You know who I was like, the fucking money taker bouncer woman.
Mm-hmm.
Was
Oh,
like,
right.
I was like, you know what? She's not bad. I thought she was gonna pop up later too.
Nope. That I figured that would have been grounds for like a cameo, but she didn't. She wasn't really anybody.
She was
in
no, but
particular,
it felt
yeah.
like they focused on her a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. And going back to the original, I guess if there was maybe one character I was rooting for, it's someone who should have never died. He was first introduced as kind of like a bully. The guy
Sal?
who is it Sal?
I think so.
Yeah, Sal. Which
like the Hispanic looking dude.
yeah, which I was kind of thinking, okay, he kind of came off as an asshole in the beginning, but he sort of became likable because in some sense he was almost the most sensible of them all. Like,
Because
yeah,
he kept leaving the room.
yeah, like there's some fucked up shit happening here. I'm out of here. And then of course, like, yeah, get out of there. There's weird shit happening, But I think everyone else, and despite him being piggish, that one dude with the mullet and the haircut, was the most entertaining. In fact, I think he was definitely channeling his inner Jim Belushi,
Yes, National Lampoon.
Why don't you go eat a bowl of fuck? I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes.
No quotable lines except for the horrible one from the remake. She shoved a lipstick into her boob and pulled out of her pussy, which is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
The only other thing about the original I really liked or would want to talk about is the demon, and like the real Angela demon, or the demon that takes over Angela, like the big monster thing.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it.
Yes.
I forgot that was in the movie, and then when the girls saw it in the mirror, I died.
Yeah, I think really early on, like when I first watched this, I'm like, that's striking imagery. It's so shocking, and I especially love how old-fashioned it is. Particularly with the summoning of it. Like sit in front of a mirror and you'll see your future self. Right?
Future self.
Yeah, and it's great because I thought that was an absolutely chilling moment when that girl sees her dead self.
Yeah, and I love the. I feel like in the original, they were trying a lot of really creative things with the cinematography and how they shot things. Like the whole scene of all of them talking, but it's in the reflection of the shards of the mirror that broke.
Yeah,
I thought that was so cool.
That
and
was
like
so creative,
innovative. It felt modern, like too modern for that movie. But there was a lot of little things like that I liked. Yeah. I kind of feel like Night of the Demons, the original, is almost like America's answer to House.
I think so too. It doesn't go as off the rails as House does, but it sort of has the same. It's such a classic haunted house movie in a sense.
Yeah, it's just very classic. Yeah,
because and I get the we are doing things really out of whack here, but kind of going off topic, back on topic. But the design of the opening credits, it just. That reminds me of a time of a simpler time. Going to the library, mid-90s, Miss Librarian, I want a spooky book. Like, well, Harrison, here's a spooky book, and it has these exact drawings of like, creatures, pumpkins, ghosts, and I'm just, that for me screams classic Halloween. That look and feel, and it's only perfected by my favorite track on the soundtrack. So here's our brief nerdy film score talk. Cue the score. And now it's time for our favorite part of the podcast, Nerdy Film Score Talk. We're of course referencing Night of the Demons theme, written by and I think performed by Dennis Michael Tenney. Is he related to the director?
I don't know.
Yeah, because either it's Kevin Tunney or Kevin Tenny. I'm not quite sure, but if they're related, then that's great, because that just means, bro,
Good for
come
them.
in, do my music, you know? But this theme just screams classic 80s horror. And funny story, I, for the longest time, actually hated music like this. I don't know why. I think it was just because, like, okay, this should be a scary movie. Why is this synth techno score playing, you know? So I would always roll my eyes at movies like Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, you know, this movie even. You know, if it didn't have a score that was similar to, like, you know, Evil Dead or even The Exorcist, you know, it was like, why I'm not feeling scared. But I guess I didn't understand that it was a movie of the time. And of course, the visuals matched the imagery and the music represented that. So rest assured, I absolutely love music from 80s horror movies now. So, you know, John Harrison, John Carpenter, this composer, I want more of it.
My sweet tooth.
Yeah, and it's funny because I think now it's been further you know, expanded upon with this whole new nostalgic thing happening. You know, Stranger Things. I want to say It Follows. Yeah, It Follows. There we go. All right on. Yes. So I really, really, really love this score. Unfortunately, I found a YouTube video featuring all of the tracks of the score just today. So I couldn't do my normal listen through the score and do my thing. But of course, I think anyone who ever seen this movie, it's very obvious that the music kind of pulls the James Newton Howard. It gives us all the musical cues, all the musical themes right in the opening credits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we'll play an example for you here. My absolute favorite part of the score.
I really like it, yeah.
Yeah, my absolute favorite part of the score is the part where it goes like da 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 da. Like that's the part that really gets me going. But aside from that, I think the only kind of release it has soundtrack wise is its actual soundtrack, where a lot of the music with lyrics is played, and which I can't tell you shit about that, because if there is a type of sound that isn't my style, it's definitely 80s rock. So you got me on that.
It's funny, I listened more of the not the score, but the actual soundtrack to the remake.
Which, oh my God.
Some good music.
Yes.
In it.
And so, yeah, which is funny because, you know, I'm like, oh God, songs with lyrics. Except this all seems very Halloween based. Am I wrong?
Like the songs?
Yeah, like they all have
they're
like
all Halloween
themes.
themed for sure.
Oh my, which I absolutely love stuff like that. I'm reminded, of course, of that band in the Halloween 2 sequel, the Rob Zombie sequel, because that is that where they perform
Captain
that band?
Clegg and the Night Creatures?
Where it's all like spooky. It's all spooky music, but it's all modern. I love it.
Zombie a go go.
I will find the score for that, or the soundtrack for that, because there was definitely a lot of like music that, I mean, it was not normally stuff I would jam to, but just because of its Halloween
like Angela's
themes,
song, the song that Angela dances to, Black Number One, was really good. I mean, the scene kind of sucked, but the music, like that song, was really good. Yeah, there's actually a lot of. I highly recommend checking out that soundtrack. And it's very spooky. It's all just spooky. Feels very in tune with,
like, it's music you play at a
season.
Halloween party, right?
Yeah. So good job on that, I guess.
Yeah. And in a shocking revelation, the discovery of who wrote the music for the Night of the Demons remake. And I would have never guessed.
Was there even music? Because I can't remember.
There was. And do you know who the composer was? Joseph Bashara.
Really?
Can you believe that?
Well, I mean,
this was definitely before he.
Thank God for James Wan, because
yes, This was definitely before he developed his signature sound, because I mean, I'd have to watch it
I
again.
wouldn't have picked it up then, because that's probably why I didn't pick it up, because I do
Yeah.
not remember a theme or anything like that.
Yeah, it sounded way more like orchestral based, which is interesting, because of naturally we only know him as, you know, the sound effects kind of guy, slamming hammers against pianos, filers
Violin
against it,
strings and bullshit.
And I wasn't able to find any sort of music released score-wise by him, but I would have definitely been interested to hear it by itself, just to see what he was like before he was Joseph Bashara. It's kind of like listening to the Searchers, John Williams, or not even that. It would be like listening to John Williams play piano in that jazz band before he was John Williams. So. Yeah, I can't reference anything because I couldn't find anything, but it's just not the Joseph Bishara we know today.
Yeah.
And he didn't play a demon in the movie, so...
It's the first.
Yeah. But gosh, that's it for nerdy film score talk on this. But I obviously love the film score for Night of the Demons more. The original.
The original.
Yeah. But Jesus Christ, like... The remake was the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen. And we've seen some doozies.
Some pretty awful things. What sucks and what makes it even shittier is like there was so much potential.
Yes.
Even with the budget that they had. Like there was lighting in there. There was parts of the set. There were things I was like, that would look so much cooler. It just is being shot in the most vanilla... Just set your camera down on a stool and it just didn't feel kinetic. None of the dialogue scenes, nothing flowed. It was just like, boom, there's a shot of this person, say your line. This shot, say your line. There was one, or I'll reference one shot that I did really like, combined with the track that started playing. I forget what the song was, but it's when they first get to the mansion, and it's like a very slow motion. You're following one of the actresses, the characters who's in like their cat suit. You're kind of following her from behind as she's walking up the steps, goes through the front door, and then turns. And as she turns, you see like the whole party, and the music kicks up.
Yeah.
To me, that was a really fun shot. And when I was watching, I was like, okay, maybe it's gonna like, now we're at the house, it's gonna pick up, or we're gonna get more of that. But
I thought that was the most busyish, not busy, like it could have been like the one shot in the whole movie that was very well rehearsed, because what I felt they were going for was like a titty twister interior reveal,
Yes, that's exactly, yeah.
But I think that they maybe they thought, wow, we really got something good here, or maybe they planned it, I don't know, but maybe when they were editing it, they were thinking, oh, this is a bit long. So they like speed ramped through certain parts of the house to our main characters, which I don't know if that was...
I don't like when they do the speed thing.
Because some cuts maybe could have been hidden in there. I don't know, but that would have been like a pretty awesome shot had they maybe not made it so long that they needed to cut it down,
Yeah. And honestly, I think the reveal of the actual party, when I was watching the movie... They would have had to rearrange some of their story was shit anyway. Nothing made sense. Even the characters mentioned that nothing makes sense. I think it should have been Angela, like maybe like them, because they start talking about her like she's the most spookiest thing, and they kind of building up her character throughout the beginning of the movie. I feel like it would have been cooler is if, as they're saying, like, oh, where's Angela? Is she coming? And like she maybe leaves the bedroom or wherever she's getting dressed on, and you follow her instead of following that other chick slow motion. And when she goes to the stairs, turns the corner, then you get like a whole view from above of the whole party. I felt like that would have been a lot cooler and a way better entrance for her. But they gave that whole kind of cool sequence to the blonde chick. I forget what her name was in the movie.
Which I was, for the life of me, trying to remember. Where do I know her from?
Dira Baird or something, and I remember her from the Texas Chainsaw.
Oh, okay. I think we're thinking of two different people. I was thinking about our final girl.
Oh no, who was oh my god, she's a nobody. I was talking about. I mean, she's a somebody, but she's a nobody in the movie.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, just based off the trivia I read today. But the one I'm referring to is Monica Keener, who was the final girl in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yes.
Which I'm like, that's where I remember her from.
Terrible
So,
actress.
yeah.
Same there as she is here. Anyways, I don't know. There was a lot of missed opportunities.
Like you said, potential. You know, like for instance, I was kind of going back to the original, just kind of going off of, we're talking like years before I even actually watched it. I always remembered the covers of the VHS tapes, and I always thought that bitch looks scary, and she's holding like the Halloween party invite, like Angela inviting you, and I don't know why, but for me, I always thought that Angela was like someone who practiced like voodoo, and
I thought it was gonna be someone who kind of mystically, but she's just like a party planner.
Which I was kind of thinking, like, okay, maybe she's trying to intentionally release these demons, which of course wasn't the case for either movie. In the original, she was just like she was just super spooky 80s goth girl,
Yeah, she was just the freaky girl. She was the the Breakfast Club.
Mm-hmm.
The freak.
The basket case or something.
The basket case.
And in the remake, the first scene we don't see her. We see her. She's typing. She says, she's typing, and not only that, but she's like, "I hope this party goes well. We can't afford another, loss or something." Mm-hmm. So suddenly, this party is a business,
Yeah, but like, they didn't do it in the original, but this was an opportunity because Angela has no motivation in this movie. Like in the first one, she's throwing the party. And she's also interested in really spooky stuff. She's the one who tells all the stories. She's the one who's like, look at the mirror. Whereas this Angela really, like you're saying, is a party planner, and that's it. Like she says she has one monologue that's terrible where she's like, I love everything spooky. You all be spooky too. And if she had, like, if she's typing away and she has that line, oh, we need this to work. It can't be a bust like the last time. Maybe she was part of that, like the people who died way back when, right? And this is their chance to try and come back to life again. So she's throwing the party because she's every 30 years on Halloween night, Angela comes back and is able to throw another party and try to get the souls again, but they totally throw that away too.
Now, if they ever decide to do a remake of Night of the Demons today, it wouldn't be a sequel. I mean, it wouldn't be a reboot. It would be a sequel to the original, ignoring the other two.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
And in our remake, which I think we need to do, it's going to be like a circuit party, like hosted by Angel.
Interesting. I can see that. Honestly, I want to tell you my idea. For at least the Angela character, I feel like if she were to be like a character in a modern day horror movie today, the audience would obviously have to care about her, and I would want to make her. Yeah, she is the weird girl, but I would make her the weird girl who gets bullied
and saves everyone at the end.
Well,
kind of? Or is you would make Angela the final girl?
Sort of, kind of. And, because she's weird, she knows about this legend at this house where shit went down. It could either be, honestly, it could be this party, or it could be the, the backstory to the original movie, or it could be something new. But I would say that, if anything, she does accidentally maybe get into communication with the demon, who then tricks her to bring people to this house to have a Halloween party, because then at that point the demon would be like, yes, I will punish all your bullies, or I'll scare them, or something like that. Just and then she'd be like, oh, okay, and then the weird girls, maybe at some point, there's the popular girl who feels sorry for her, like a modern day kind of book smart, where it's like these friends really shouldn't be friends, but they are kind of a thing, you know what I mean? And then she invites all of her friends, aka bullies, and then they all come to this house, and that's when shit starts going really bad. The demon doesn't punish them; it fucking kills them and possesses them, and suddenly Angela's like, what have I done? And then suddenly she starts to take control, and then starts, I don't know. There'd be some plot like this is how you stop the demon, or and it would be like, oh, I've made a mistake, and it would be like relatable. It'd be, I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking if it were to ever be a remake, because that's what I first thought about Angela when I see her on the, when I first just read the back thing on the VHS and the posters, and I'd be like, maybe this woman just wanted friends, and then she just went about it the wrong way. It's just something like that.
I mean, that way is way more thought out and thoughtful, and would give, I don't think the filmmakers have ever heard of character development.
Oh, what is that?
Like, that at least gives you something to hold on to where, I mean, no one in this movie has anything sympathetic. Like, you have Edward Furlong. Why is he? He just needed money, obviously.
Yeah, Edward Furlong. Okay, who can we relate with? We can't relate with a drug dealer, Like,
yeah, and it's just like his plot line is just so, why did you make it that? I don't know. Like, again, I can't explain. They probably were like, what should we do?
Eddie Furlong. Let's get Edward Furlong.
Yeah, that's the one.
He's got coke bloat,
It's just, I feel like when I was watching the movie, if me and you were there and had all those props and those cameras and the sets and the amount of fucking extras they had, we could have done something better than this bullshit.
Speaking of all those extras, I knew it was silly of me to dream this, but I was kind of thinking that there would be like some like mass kill scene,
which would have been amazing.
Right? Oh, the demons are loose, and suddenly we get like a From Dusk Till Dawn massacre, an opening scene of Wishmaster massacre. You know what I'm talking about? Just utter carnage.
And that's what gets the characters to finally get lost and split up.
Yep.
Right? And
yes. And it's like,
And in this movie, they leave and then come back, and they're just like, oh, well, we're here.
Yeah, potential is what this movie is. And it's just sad because Night of the Demons has such a draw just with that title alone, Night of the Demons. Like, it's a movie you would want to go see, just even if we had all this stuff here, and even if it maybe came out bad, like if we did it, we came out bad, it'd probably still be way fucking better than the shit we got with this remake.
Yeah, because we know the movie we're trying to make, which is a cheesy, campy, bad, gory, scary movie, Like, I don't know. It's hard to think about what the filmmakers were thinking. Were they like, I mean, are they super fans of the original? Did they think they were really like paying homage?
Like, did they really think they were improving on what was already there?
Like, when they start playing the Night of the Demons theme song, I'm like, I bet they fucking thought this was like a cheering moment, like for the fans, like, oh, they're fighting the demons and they're playing the original theme song. And it just fell so flat for me.
So flat. And, see, moments like that weren't earned. Like, for instance, the final girl, when she goes all Linda Hamilton on these demons and she goes out, and I'm like, who are you again? I didn't feel anything for this final girl. And I know this is probably being really, really, truly nitpicky, but I just don't think you can shove your shotgun full of nails and shoot them all out. You're definitely going to get recoil, and there's going to be nails in your face.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And she, I mean, again, for a final girl, she had no... they always give the final girl something sad, something about their character that they either have to overcome or realize about themselves. The only thing she had was like, oh, I used to see Edward Furlong and I don't really like him anymore, but I don't want Angela to steal him. Like, that was it.
That was it. It was horrible because when you simplify it, it's like, oh, well, my ex-boyfriend was a coke dealer.
And I'm addicted to coke, and I need to stay away from him. Like,
got nothing there. See, the only movie I know that did that quite well was the Evil Dead remake.
And the only way to defeat the demons, she has to do like a shit ton of coke.
She has to go on a coke binge and just become immortal in her mind, and that's how she'll overcome the demons.
Have you seen the movie Grabbers?
Grabbers?
Mm-hmm.
No. What is
I
it?
think it's on Prime. I highly recommend it. I just showed it to Brian. It's a little gem. It takes place in Ireland, I believe. Maybe it's Ireland or Scotland. Sorry, Irish and Scottish people. It's one of those two. And
One
it's
star
about
review.
1 star review. It's about a ocean cliffside community, very small, very quaint. A police officer from the bigger city has an assignment there for a week, and she's used to like more city life, and it's just so quaint and tired there. And and her partner there is an alcoholic, a raging alcoholic, is always drunk, and that's kind of the klutz of the story. And then they find these little pods or eggs wash up on the ocean, and little squid things come out, and it's kind of like Jaws, where you see like an initial kill, and then throughout the story people are getting knocked off, and you find out that this creature or whatever sucks blood. I'm not really giving anything away, this is all in the trailer. The creature sucks blood, and it's a big tentacle monster, and it can only have like blood and oxygen or something, and if it eats anything with alcohol in it, it dies, shrivels up and dies. And so they have to convince the entire community without telling them to have a big party at the pub and get fucking hammered. So it's all these people and the police officers trashed trying to defeat this monster.
That sounds amazing.
It is really funny.
Was it made recently?
Maybe like 5 years ago.
Wow.
The effects really hold up.
Grabbers.
Highly
Interesting.
And it works on creature feature and then comedy. Like it.
Yeah.
Okay,
that reminds me. That reminds me of the very, very first episode of Adventure Time.
I don't remember.
Have you ever like watched Adventure
Yeah.
Time? It's like they Princess Bubblegum accidentally makes a serum that resurrects all the dead and buried candy, and then they're all having a sleepover at the castle, and then Finn just convinces all of them to like play games, but they're actually defending the castle from zombie candy.
Yeah,
you know?
I do remember now.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll probably legitimately. Oh wait, no. I was about to say I'll probably watch that tonight, but I know I'm going to start going through that Friday the 13th collection. So.
And the main character is a sober person, has never had a drink. So
God.
That's like the dilemma too of she's just not that kind of person.
That sounds awesome. It's on the list for sure. That sounds really fucking awesome. But
so if they could have done something like that here too, it's like demons need a natural body. Like, well, what can we do to make it not pure or natural? And they do a ton of his drugs. I thought his drugs were going to come into play because he kept losing them. The whole thing was like, where are my drugs? I got to find them. That's how they found the bodies.
Yeah, it's like now this drugs, this specific type of cocaine has rust in it.
Yeah.
Iron,
oh my God.
salt. I don't.
Iron.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe it was counterfeit coke. They're trying to make a quick buck, so it's just salt.
It's just so, or the demons just need your mind like
Clear.
open.
Yeah.
Clear. You have to have a clear mind for them to go into you. But if you're hopped up on a bunch of Molly or ecstasy,
it's like, guys, they can't possess you unless you're high.
Like I can imagine all the characters high as hell, fighting the monster. So there's blood, screaming, but they're also kind of laughing their heads off. At the same time.
Why aren't we being hired by Hollywood, man? I can't imagine whoever wrote this movie didn't come up with these clever ideas. Someone had to. Either it had to be rushed, or the guy just didn't know the original, or didn't respect it or love it. I mean, I don't know. How does shit like this happen? Especially at a time, I'm not saying it was like the best of the best, but the Friday the 13th remake was definitely not as bad as this.
No. Well, the thing is that knew the movie it was trying to make, and I feel like they didn't know the tone of the movie they wanted. They wanted it super gross and sexy, but then they tried to do kind of slapstick stuff as well. And I mean, that Angela, was that Shannon Elizabeth under that makeup? Do you think she did any of that?
I don't think so. It looks so different that I'm not convinced it was her. And I don't know. All the other demons look really awesome, actually.
Yeah, they do.
The faceless demon. Okay, the one thing I didn't like about her were the boob tentacles.
I didn't like that either. That was... It reminded me of Species.
Right. Oh my God. I really need to rewatch that because last time I watched it, I was only a fucking kid.
You do. And then watch the sequel
Oh no.
with the hot wits where it's a guy that time, a sexy man who's killing everyone.
Interesting. Is Michael Madsen still in it?
He is. It's like
Really?
everyone from the first movie. He's like, I think he's like pushed to the front
Interesting.
in the second one, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I do have it. I don't know about the sequels, but I know I do have the original. So, but yeah, the only thing, yeah, I just the boob stuff. Okay, Angela's demon face. It looks so like Halloween store demon. You know?
Yeah, and the acting. I mean, I don't think this is one of those movies where they're like act bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's a way to act bad and make it convincing, like where it works, and then there's just bad acting. Yeah. I felt like they were trying to actually act, and it was just bad. Like, I mean, the one immediately the line that I just got the biggest cringe was when they're like, "Cats, we're pussy cats." I'm like, oh my god.
Oh,
are we really doing this?
And it's funny because Richard pointed out that one of their whiskers wasn't out and about. It was just 3 straight lines, and I couldn't unsee it for the rest of the movie. And I just and maybe she was just because it was the leader, and I don't know. I'm just shit talking Angela's makeup because it's so out of place. The horns make it look silly.
I mean, in the original, Angela herself, even before she's a demon, is really fun. Mm-hmm. Like, she's cool and you're interested in her, and I don't know. And then when she's a demon, it's even more fun. Like, it just amps it up. So in this, it's like she sucked as human Angela, and you're like, okay, well, at least it's going to get to demon monster Angela, and hopefully that'll, like, make up for it. You know, we're all waiting for the demon Angela anyway.
Oh my god,
and it was just as shitty.
She looks like the Little Monsters monster.
Yes. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
She does look like the Little Monsters.
Wow.
Even the...
Yep. Shit. That's why it was bugging the fuck out of me.
Damn it.
Wow. Oh yeah, that movie exists too.
It does. It's a better movie than this. I mean, what else is there really to say?
I think... Okay, there's one thing I think.
Okay.
A skeleton bite is what set this whole thing off. Like, what is this?
Okay.
Is this
I
record?
forgot about that. And even, I mean, it literally bites her. Like, it's just
Yep.
Like, the mouth moves. The original, like, had such a simple way of showing someone getting possessed. Mm-hmm. Like, it just came into her, right? Like,
yeah, it had Evil Dead vision, you know?
And it was like I liked that scene in the original too, like, because you're seeing it head towards the victims, the group of kids, and you're thinking, oh, they're going to see it and freak out, and they don't do anything, and you're like, then you realize, oh, it's invisible.
Yeah,
that's scary.
Oh,
that's really cool.
One thing that I loved about the original, especially with that scene, well, not even, maybe specifically that scene, but also like a few other nods to real demon lore. I love the fact that they set up the underground river that surrounded the house
to explain why they can't leave,
which is great because that also, there's a whole lot of paranormal hullabaloo about water and flowing water, and that spirits can't really cross over that. I love it, and just the little detail of when the POV of the demon is kind of going around and they all smell something rotten,
which is
terrific.
Cool. They're showing, they're just like, I don't know.
It gives something invisible a presence.
It gave the not having a budget to have a demon walk into the room, work. Like, it just.
And you know what also got me thinking too?
I'm getting angry now, Harrison.
I love it though, because this is just proof that we can, and it's funny because I'm not even like that big of the biggest fan of the original. I love it, but I don't know anything too specific about it, But just being a super casual fan about it, we've already created the ultimate remake.
Yeah, I agree.
And one thing that kind of made me think a little is I love the fact that the demon sort of originated from the furnace, and that kind of gave me little throwbacks to Sweet Home.
Yeah, Home Alone.
Oh, and Home Alone. Fuck. But I don't know. That's really it for me. Oh, okay. One last thing on my end. Really random scene, but I bet it was the director's way to reference the original. The demon orgy scene. I bet the guy watched the movie and heard the line, "How about an orgy?" and said, "Okay, demon orgy."
Demon orgy, which,
you know,
not a bad instinct. You know, okay, yeah, sure, demon orgy, but make it look cool and not dumb as fuck. When this is why I'm wondering if Shannon Elizabeth actually did that, like was in the makeup when she starts sucking on the guy's horn.
Oh my god.
It just was so nothing sexy about that. There's nothing sexy or perverse. You know, it's like they were trying to be really perverted in things. It just looked so stupid.
Yeah, and I wonder, because this definitely came out after 13 Ghosts, but the room with all the spells on the wall that was protected, you know?
That she can just fucking read everything.
Yeah, and, you know, at that point, stay in the room. You know,
exactly. Why did you leave?
Why? Well, I mean, I know they were tricked, but even I saw that quote unquote trick from a mile away.
I saw that coming a long time. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much that I had all on my notes. Really, I guess should we get into closing thoughts then?
Yes.
Okay. So what did you think of? Well, first of all, what did you think? Start with the original and then the remake.
So. The original, it's not a perfect movie, and it's definitely not of the caliber of, say, you know, it's not up there with Friday the 13th or Halloween. Although that's actually not true. I would rather watch Night of the Demons than Friday the 13th or the first Halloween. It definitely doesn't have that. It doesn't have that status, you know, in horror pop culture. Night of the Demons is very much more of a low culty type of what people think about it. But watching it now, I feel like it just has all of those elements that everyone loved from 80s horror. Like it's just a perfect melting pot of everything, and it was just a lot of fun. As bad as it is, I had a great time. And so yeah, I really enjoy it. I think it could be one of those movies that you watch on Halloween with Trick or Treat and other kind of spooky Halloween themed movies. And then getting to the original or the remake.
Oh my god.
It just throws everything out of the remake is everything wrong with like early to late 2000s remakes. It's like let me see, I'm trying to think of another remake that went straight to DVD that was kind of had a similar thing. There was a lot of them.
Yeah.
So it's a piece of shit. I will never watch it again. I'll say some of the songs on the soundtrack are pretty good. But of course, those were made by talented people and not the people who made this movie. So those are my thoughts. I think the remake is trash. You can totally skip it. And I do want to say I'm not a remake hater. I actually champion a lot of remakes. I usually am excited for remakes because I just like to see a different take on you know, familiar things. But not this remake.
Yeah, that's why I'm really interested to discuss Let Me In With You.
It's been a long time. Been a long time. From what I remember, I thought it was okay. Like
that's on the schedule for next year.
I don't like Chloe Grace Moretz.
Oh, really? Wow.
At all. I think she is a terrible actress in everything she's in. And every time I see her in a leading role, I'm like, why?
Well, join us next year. That's
a different conversation.
Yeah, join us next year as we butt heads over Chloe Grace Moretz.
0 stars from Chloe Grace Moretz.
You know, but you know, a lot of similar thoughts. You know, I wasn't the guy who grew up watching Night of the Demons. I watched it as an adult, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think it was just weird this time because technically this was the first straight up horror movie that we've shown Richard. You know, like Aliens of August.
You had the pressure of an audience.
Yeah, the pressure of an audience. And, you know, all last week was, Serial Killer September, which was a bit more, you know, thriller-ish, not so much straight-up horror monster. You know, those were human monsters. And this was, like, the first legitimate horror movie that we've shown him, you know. So I was kind of nervous. I was like, oh, my God, this is, like, bad. But I don't think he realizes that's what's charming about it, you know.
Yeah, you have to go with that in mind.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to be watching, yeah.
So I think that hurt his viewing a lot, and in return it also like made me feel very embarrassed about it, you know.
Yeah.
So but I personally love the hell out of the original. I love its music. I love its its characters. As bad as they are, they're fun caricatures, you know. So. And especially Linnea Quigley, she is always great. I feel that it's just in her contract in the '80s said must be naked,
And she said, "Okay."
Okay, because God, what did I first see her in? What was the movie before this?
She's not in Return of the Living Dead, right?
Yes, she is.
Is that her? Okay.
She's the one who dances naked on top of the grave and gets torn to pieces. So
by old men.
Yes, and that's where I first saw her, and I'm thinking, here she is again. I mean, she's not a convincing high schooler. She was like what, 30 when she filmed this, but
Angela,
yeah,
I gotta get ready. Like she, she sounded like a smoker, an older woman already. Yeah,
she was like, "Is this Angela's mom?" But yeah, basically a lot of love. The remake, on the other hand. First of all, I didn't even know there was a remake. Honestly, because I would always see Night of the Demons on like Amazon, and it would be like, oh, Night of the Demons, and then Night of the Demons, another cover. I thought it was like maybe an alternative
just different
cover,
covers, Yeah.
I did not know there was a remake, and I think it was you who revealed to me that Shannon Elizabeth was Angela. So I was all like, what the fuck? How did I not hear about this? So I'm glad that I got this off my chest because I mean, it was fun, but just like, we're not laughing with you, we're laughing at you. Night of the Demons remake. So
yes.
I thought for sure some of the demon designs were cool, but those demon designs needed to be in a wholly different movie.
Yeah. Presented in a much different way.
Yes. And whoever approved the Angela demon design, I hope this was the last movie.
Even Angela's outfit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Was so stupid.
I just can't
do it. Pink streaks.
Can't do it.
I mean, the original, her outfit was hilarious. It was so good.
It was so overdone.
Over the top.
Yeah.
Like that was
like her little spider pendant thingy.
Yeah, I just
Oh, so there was nothing redeeming about this remake. In fact, it was a remake that should have never been done, and if it had to be done, it should not have been done by whoever they got to do this.
Agreed.
It wasn't it wasn't enough to have. I'm going to assume at the time maybe a 50-year-old Linnea Quigley bending over in front of little girls. I didn't see if she had a vagina patch on her that time.
I didn't see either.
But ultimately, when that moment happened, it was in the opening. I knew there was something wrong with this movie. Admittedly, I'll say like that early flashback scene with that lady, her head just plops off. I'm like, oh, okay, that was pretty nice, but that was it. No, and I mean, as gory as it may have appeared, there were also not a lot of gory scenes, I would say.
There wasn't a lot of death.
Yeah. If anything, they sort of...
Like Edward Furlong turned into a demon because she hurt his leg. His leg broke.
What the fuck was up with that?
And then she like snapped it back and it killed him?
Yeah.
Or...
He like sneezed into a demon?
He sneezed into the demon.
I'm like, whatever.
They wrote themselves into a hole there. They're like, well, how the fuck do we get rid of Edward Furlong?
So, okay, sneeze into a demon. Oh my gosh. But it was just the worst movie I've seen for this podcast. And in fact, let's get into ratings. I think it's very appropriate for both movies that we should give this movie one lipstick out of 5.
So the OG Night of the Demons, I will give a solid 2.5. It's a solid, good, bad movie. You know what you're getting when you put it on immediately, and it's just a good time. The remake, for all the reasons we've spent an hour talking about, I'm gonna give it about 0.5.
Oh,
And that's just because I liked a couple of those songs in there. That movie, I'm sorry, I'm never going to watch this movie again.
I don't even know if I have a 0.5 sound effect, but whatever it is, it's gonna be a half bell sound effect with just a bunch of farts.
Yes.
We'll play that for you right now. The first ever 0.5 out of 5 rating.
And it fits. So that's what I'm going to say.
So yeah, I'm gonna give the original Night of the Demons a 3 out of 5, which I still think is very fitting, very appropriate.
It is, yeah.
You know, maybe if it was just for the sake of it being fun, I'd give it maybe 4 out of 5. You know, but as a strict critic, 3 out of 5. You know what? Just because I know the sound effect I'm going to make for the 0.5 out of 5 rating is going to be hilarious, I too give the Night of the Demons remake 0.5 out of 5 lipsticks. What a fucking shitty remake to a really good, fun horror movie. I really hope it does get remade with someone who's competent enough to make an entertaining movie.
And
more
understand
importantly,
the material that they have.
yeah, and it doesn't need to be as dramatic as we want to make it,
Yeah, no.
With Angela being a bullied girl and all that jazz, It can be a fun movie, and it could be bad. You just have to learn how to balance those two.
Yes.
Know what you're going to make, and then make it. And don't have a drug dealer in it, unless
It has
those...
no
no payoff.
reason to be there, yeah.
Unless that drug dealer has a subplot that pays off somehow in the finale.
Unless those drugs save the day for some reason.
So, gosh, Night of the Demons, fantastic original, shitty remake. Well, shall we
Sweet.
close out this episode?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, well, that concludes our talk about Night of the Demons. You can find us on all the social medias. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. Please follow us at The Final Gaze. You can also listen to us on all the platforms for podcasts. We are on Podbean, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Music, or no, Apple Podcasts. We're even on YouTube. We record videos of us talking about these episodes, so if you want to see our pretty cute faces, go to youtube.com/thefinalgaze. Our website is slowly dying, so don't even go there. But if you want to see the last remnants, please visit www.thefinalgaze.com. Join us next week as we cover the 2006 animated horror film for kids, Monster House.
I am so excited. This is a good movie from what I remember. It's been a hot second since I've seen it. But I think it's a perfect Halloween episode.
Yeah, I
us.
remember the last time I fully watched it, I was on a road trip and it was just randomly playing on the Cartoon Network show. So I'm all like, okay, all right. This is pretty spooky. So, yeah, join us next week as we talk about that.
All right. Well, until next time, I'm Toby.
And my name is Harrison, and we are The Final Gaze.